Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another, what is it, Monday? It ain't Sunday. What's going on? uh, what's going on, everybody? It's another week, start of another week. Oh, out here, the temperature has definitely started to drop. I think last weekend was our last good weekend, and well, honestly, it looked like snow out there as I was coming in. It isn't quite there yet, but it's looking like she could snow anytime now. So, who all we got in here? Mrs. One-Eyed Cat. What's going on, Wendy? And of course, we got Dane Stevenson, our friendly Kiwi from way down in New Zealand. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody there. I thought there was more of them up there. I was looking at the YouTube side of it earlier. So, some of the things that I've gotten done over the weekend. Well, I cleaned out the shop a little bit, getting it ready to pull stuff in. I pulled the wife's 66 Chevy truck, the C20, out from the backyard, that step-side long bed. Oddly enough, on that year, let's see, that'd be series 1, 2, 3, series 3 Chevy trucks. They actually look pretty good with the long bed step side. Generally, I don't like the looks of that one, but with that boxier, still with some style, cab and nose on it, I kind of like the long step side on it. Anyway, I pulled it out and around, put brakes on it. I got to drop another transmission in it. Right now, it's locked in second gear. I don't know how it got locked in second gear because it's been sitting in the backyard with for, oh Lord, a few years, a few more years than I want to remember. But yeah, sitting out there, it's she won't come out of second, so that's got me a little worried. But I don't care because I got to know 2, 3 more of those transmissions anyway. So I'll just pull it out, slide the other one up in it, and get her going. And then finish it up and get it ready to drive around for a little bit. Those trucks are always fun to drive in the wintertime. 2-wheel drive truck. Yeah. And they're a little heavy on the nose side. It's going to be interesting. Oh, but that's what I've got started on. The Mercury. I don't know if any of you guys was in Doc Arts live there, but I kind of caught the very tail end of it, and I got the wrong distributor for it. I was looking at distributors for both the 460 and the 390. I meant to order the one for the 390. I ended up ordering one for a 460, so I gotta reorder that in and get it coming. But yeah, I got lots of 460s. I can use that one anyway, so it works out. Yeah, the 460 is going back in the 58. Got it in the shop. Still kind of working on it here and there as pieces come in. And then the 68 Mercury, the Park Lane, the one that I was supposed to be taking to the first No Name Nationals, getting it all ready to become my daily driver because like I said before, I sold my daily. So if I want wheels, I gotta have to make one work. There's an incentive. Get your car going. Go down to one. Or better yet, go down to none. Yeah, that'll get you excited on your project. All right, it's all good. So that's what I've been doing. What y'all been up to? Just like any of my other lives, I've got my link posted up there in the little comment, the chat section there. If you want to climb on in, just hit the little button and come on in. Sometimes that's a lot easier than typing. especially after a day like today. Good Lord, my fingers are full of little tiny little metal fragments, little metal slivers. It's just, yeah. And I had gloves on most of the day. The problem is that it's brass is what it is too, because that's the worst. Uh, Cleaning up these hand adjusters for machinery in there. The guys when they start getting a little sticky, the machine operators will grab a pipe wrench, and they're just a brass shaft, and they'll put the pipe wrench on it and adjust the machine. It's a pretty good sized shaft. It's brass shaft that's about 2¼ inches, 2.5 inch shaft. But the pipe wrench chews that up, and then, well, I got to pull them all off, clean them up so they easy adjust so they don't have to use a pipe wrench. But I got to take a buffer and buff off all of the teeth marks from the pipe wrenches, and that brass just goes everywhere. Little brass slivers everywhere. It falls down through your glove, and then you get them all over in your hands. Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, ramble bamble. Good old times at working the maintenance at in a factory. Yeah. Hoping to get on to the, well, I thought with bringing the wife's truck around and working on it, I can kind of go back to where my channel all started from, because you guys all know me as a Ford guy, but I'm actually more of a Chevy guy. And get that up and going. She's always wanted me to get that up and going for her too, so it's time to do something nice for her. But being a Chevy, I'll be able to go back and re-explore where the channel all took off from. Well, it started from anyway. It's nothing big. It's got a little 327. I'm putting a large journal 327 in it. The engine that's in that one is actually a small journal with camel hump heads, the old style. So I'm pulling that engine out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It runs beautifully. There's no blow by, no smoke, no nothing. The guy that she got it from lives out on the Indian reservation. He was actually a roadie for the Grateful Dead. And he lived in California before he moved up here to Idaho. Anyway, and the truck came from down there in California, out on the desert somewhere, probably Edwards Air Force Base area, Victorville, that whole section of California there. Out on the desert, there ain't no beaches there. And the truck shows it too. It's got a lot of sun, not much rust, but a lot of sunbake, if you will. '66, that's the last year of that body style. '67, they done changed her up a little bit. But anyway, I'll pull that. That's a golden gem. I love those little small journal 327s. I'll pull that out, set it in the shop, and I've got, like I said, that large journal 327 in there, or I've got a 350. It was a 327 that they made into a 350. Kind of went the other way with that one. I pulled that one out of my 69, and I'll drop that in its place. Plenty good for her in that little truck. And then the small journal will probably go into the 40 Pontiac that's also on my logo. About losing my voice tonight. It does this every time the weather changes hard. which really sucks. I It sucks every year. I'm never ready for winter, but this winter, yeah, I'm really not ready. I still got another engine sitting outside that I got to get covered up inside. Another 460. It's the only reason I'm a Ford guy that you guys can see is because I just have so many of them laying around. uh, and honestly, it's just because of my area. There's Fords everywhere, so you can pick a Ford up on the cheap. Chevys actually cost you a little more just to buy them, to buy them outright. Of course, a Chevy you can't beat on the price of rebuilding them and the price of aftermarket parts. Oh, Lord, it is so cheap to do a Chevy. But here where I'm at, it costs a little more to buy them. But Fords are just everywhere, especially pickups. Anything from dent side all the way down. Hell, you see them still driving around. People are still using them. They're around here. It's not classics. It's just what people are still driving. They're still going. Hey, Turbo Tom. Oh, I get to yakking and I miss the chat there a little bit. Watching the Steelers and New York football game, huh? Oh, cool. Go Steelers. I'm not a Steelers fan, but yeah, go Steelers. How's Grandpa doing? I have my two grandsons will be here by Thanksgiving. Oh, sweet. That's cool, Tom. Oh, me, I'm just tired. Oh, Lord, it's been a rough go. From everything they say, though, we'll be finished up this week with everything, and the harvest shutdown will finally go back to normal. That's what it is. I work at a potato processing plant, and when harvest comes, they shut the plant down. But when the plant shuts down, that's when maintenance goes the hog wild. That's when we go through and fix everything that's questionably fixed all year long just to keep the plant running. So when they shut down for harvest, when they're waiting to get the new potatoes in, everything from because they got to dig them from the field and then they got to sit in the cellar for a little bit and cure, and then you can use them. So that takes a little bit, couple of weeks, and then they can start pulling them out of the cellar again. The potatoes, you got to kind of shock. Well, when you pull them out of the ground, it shocks them, and then you got to wait a little bit, and then they settle in, and then they're good potatoes again. But during that time period, that's when, like I said, if you're on maintenance, that's when it's a A&E time. And I've been going rock solid since 2 weeks before the No Name Nationals. Yeah, Turbo. Yeah, send me some. I'll Oh, I lose you there? Spud shock therapy. Didn't Bliston and Coney do that? Ooh. When they finally get out there, good Lord, I sent Justin Hill some. quite some time ago, and I don't know if he ever even got them. Of course, if he really wanted them, he knows where I'm at. Of course, I'm pretty hard to miss. And like I said, it's just normal run of the mill pickup live. I got my link posted up there. If any of you want to climb on in, climb on in. We'll talk about a little bit of anything tonight. I don't know how long we'll stay on. I think I'll hit the sack a little bit early tonight. Just been, woof, like I said, running hard and heavy. Is starting to feel it in my bones. And weather change is, yeah, getting to me. That's generally the way it works around here. It will be like 70s, low 70s, maybe mid 60s. Bang, snow. Snow and nothing but cold. We get very little in between. The people here that like to go color watching, when the leaves all change colors, yeah, you got to be quick because that only lasts for just a short little while, sometimes only a couple of days. And then bang, good hard frost, deathly cold will set in, and all the leaves will just fall. So you ain't even got a chance to enjoy that as you go through the hills and the canyons and stuff. Just the joys of living in High Plains Desert. If you don't like the weather, just seriously sit around. Sometimes we get all 4 seasons in one day. But that's all the stuff I got going. Trying. I got another turnaround coming for the 460. So the 58 will go back the way that it was originally intended. The last time that I intended. I just need another cam for that one. And I'll be going with the same cam that I went with before. That just works really good. Hey, Philip, good to see you, brother. The 390, I've got all the stuff sitting here for it, but I think I'm going to wait until spring to put the dual carb on it. That one, because it's a 390 FE. Tunnel rams are dang near impossible to find for them unless you can find those late 60s ones that were out for a short little while. I think Clifford made them. Maybe Offenhauser. I think it was Offenhauser made them. But they did make a few of them. But good night. If you find one pop up on eBay every now and then, they are ultra expensive. So that one's just going to get a dual quad. That'll be plenty good enough. And then I'll put 2-inch spacers, car spacers on it to kind of get a tunnel ram effect out of it. Hey, looks like we got Ed's machine. What's going on? Great to see you, Ed. But back to that. I probably won't do that until spring because with the weather hitting, I don't like to mess with camshafts. in the brutal winter, any kind of work like that I do, I'd have to take it up to Dad's. When you do a valve train out in the cold, I mean serious cold, when it's below zero, your tolerances tend to change a little. And there's nothing worse than firing one up to break a cam in when it's about 10 below. It's just not good thing to do. So that the full step of the way of doing all of that, that'll probably come in the spring. I'll just get it running with the single on it for now, and then drive it until good weather hits. Terry Grover, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Then we got unfinished projects sliding on in there, just like bacon kiwi. Good to see you, brother. I'm kind of going back and forth on the original Fairlane. I think I'm still going to stick that tall deck in there. That 460 out of that 87 with the deep dish pistons in it. Thinking more and more, make that one a true daily driver, a true, easy driver, because deep dish pistons, that thing will run on that thing will run on 2 octane. It's not fuel sensitive then, so I think that's a good choice for that one. No problem, Ed. Good to see you. You're always welcome anytime, even if it's for a short time. Long time, short time, it don't matter. And I tried to get some video going again yesterday and the day before, but the wind was between the wind and the truck traffic and everything else, it didn't work out. And the whole thing I had planned to do, like I said, like a dang fool, I was looking at both of them. It's the same distributor. It's just one's for 460 and one's for 390. And I thought, man, I should get both of them, but I'll just do the 390 for right now. So I clicked it, put it in my cart, went through, okay, bought it, and it showed up, and it was the 461. I was just oh well, like I said, I can use it on another one. It ain't no big deal. It's just gonna be 4 days now before I get the other one in. Okay, I'm going with alien poop. As for any kind of head porting or anything like that, I don't think I'm going to do anything with those doves. I think I'm just going to pretty much leave them alone. Maybe polish up the exhaust a little. Well, on the intake side, you really don't do anything to the intake side on them as is. I'll clean up any bad castings, but any kind of casting flash, that if there is any in there, I'll do that. But as far as actual porting, I can't do it to a set of doves. I do it to a set of D3s because I got plenty of them. But Yeah, doves are just too hard to come by, and I don't trust myself good enough for that. Going in and really shaping bowls and stuff. But if any of you guys are interested in with that stuff, Terry Grover's got some excellent videos on that. And I'm gonna try some of that out. But like I said, I'm gonna do it on a set of D3s. I made a video about making chicken fried steak breakfast. That's generally what I order in a restaurant. Is I always like the chicken fried steak breakfast. I don't like the dinner. Chicken fried steak and eggs. Oh, and hash browns. Oh, you betcha. That's a little slice of heaven right there. If you order it up for the dinner, well, then they throw some vegetables. They're usually pretty sorry looking vegetables. And then they serve it on top of mashed potatoes. That's, I like it separated. Hey, Joseph Heron, what's going on? The green wagon in the field caught my eye. Is that a Ford? Yep, that's a 59 Country Squire. It's actually sitting in my front yard now. That's where I got her from. It's the 4-door. Actually, if you can see a little bit of blue down below on the photo, that's actually a 2-door. Same thing, 59 Ford wagon, but it's a 2-door. But I sold that one already to Stephen Holtz. I was thinking about building the 2-door, but it needed too much work. And well, when it comes to wagons, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a 4-door. I don't mind 4 doors anyway, so. But thanks for stopping in, Joseph. The wife has always wanted me to do a wagon too, so that's where I got that from. She wants to do a wagon and then get the old vintage luggage and put up on the top on a luggage rack with an old Schwinn bicycle. We went to Viva Las Vegas car show, and there was a bunch of station wagon rat rods out there, and they all had that, look going, and she just fell in love with that. So Tim72, what's going on? Having grilled salmon from my smoker. Oh, sweet. Ah, there he is. And who says you don't do anything with the intake side? Like I said, if you want to learn how to do it, check this guy out. He knows those portions, well, head porting in general. Go check out Terry Grover. He's got some great stuff. If we live closer, dadgummit, I just dropped my phone over to you, Terry. uh, but yeah, there is a little bit you do in there, but oh, not like many of the others. The nice thing about a 460 is the ports are so dang big that you can actually get in there and work them. But the exhaust side, oh man, you got to do a lot of work on the exhaust side on them things. Let's see, get caught back up here. I got a video of smoking with hot peppers and mozzarella cheese on French bread. Oh, so that sounds good. You have your grandfather's 58. Oh, sweet. That's one that I need, a 58 wagon. I've got a Fairlane. I've got a 300. Well, I got a couple of 300s, but I don't have a wagon in the 58. Love to see pictures of it, man. That is really cool. Let's see. Only a sedan. Had a Thunderbird engine in it. Oh, no problem. Thunderbird engine. That was probably a 390 then, huh? 390 Thunderjet. I would imagine. It could also be the Y block that they put in the Thunderbird too. With engine matching, you're cooling with gasoline. Is anybody making aluminum heads for the 460? Yeah. Actually, TrickFlow makes a pretty good set, and they address the shortcomings on the exhaust side. TrickFlow took them and they moved the exhaust. The problem is the head bolt goes almost through the exhaust port, so that everything is really bunched up, and the way they had to kind of work around that. What TrickFlow did is they moved the port up and over, and then you got to use little tiny, real tiny spark plugs for it that kind of fit off the side, and it's tight, really tight. And they changed the exhaust port to big block Chevy style. But yeah, and it's all aluminum. They flow really well. But holy cow, are they expensive. And there's other makes too. Dart makes them. I haven't seen any Speedmaster one. Yeah, Speedmaster does too. Yeah, of course they do. 2X Jeff, he bought a set of Speedmasters. Had to do quite a bit of work to them. He found out the hard way that if you, and this goes for any aluminum heads that you buy, aftermarket aluminum heads, always buy them bare. My machinist told me this years ago, and he still stands by it today. All the manufacturers, Edelbrock, everybody, when they build the heads, they put the cheapest valve train in it, the valves, the cheapest springs, the cheapest keepers, all of that stuff. Alden, he said, just buy them bare and let me assemble them, because you got to bring them to a machine shop anyway to have them, gone through to make sure. And it's just so much simpler if you just buy them bare, let your machinist put all the valves in them, redo the valve job, because yeah, he showed me a set of darts that he actually had to really work over, and the customer was not too happy about it with dart because he spent a little money on those. But anyway, little tidbit there. Anytime you buy aluminum heads, always buy them bare bones, without the valves, without nothing, just the head. And then take it to a good machinist, somebody like Terry Grover, Ed's Machine, those guys, and let them just do their magic to it. The more money you spend, generally, the less work they have to do. The cheaper the head, the more work they have to do, generally speaking. But yeah, there is pretty much all of them, but they do cost more, quite a bit more. Jane Schroeder, what's going on? Good to see you from Missouri, huh? We have a 47 Chevy truck. Ooh, a Series 1. Wanted to swap to an S10 frame with the two-wheel drive extended cab. Oh, what year S10? Work good for that? Will it be wide enough to look? If it's a first gen S10, it's going to be narrow. They're very narrow. On that one, for a 47, I would actually look for a four-wheel drive S10 in the first generation of them, of the S10. Oh, good Lord, this is getting confusing. The difference is the four-wheel drive S10 is 2.5 inches wider than the four-wheel drive is 2.5 inches wider track width. You know, the tires set that much farther apart. And you can adjust that even more with regular offset wheels. The two-wheel drive, they are very narrow and they're a little bit hard to work around in the front, whereas the four-wheel drive one is more square and perpendicular. You don't have on a two-wheel drive S10, the upper control arms are in there this way. They're kind of V'd out like that. On the four-wheel drive, they're perpendicular, which makes it so much easier. And the four-wheel drive, you don't have to run it as a four-wheel drive. All you got to do is drop the front diff out of it and then stick a regular 350 in it with a turbo 350 or 400 transmission, whatever that combination you want, two-wheel drive, and run it all day long. That front diff drops right out of there. And the way that the rotors and everything are connected to the front wheel bearings, you don't need the front diff in there to hold it all together. Hope I answered that. But if it's a second generation S10, they don't V out. The upper control arms don't V out like that. They're more like the four-wheel drives. They're perpendicular and they widen them out. So if you're running a second generation S10, they'll work on that 47. We actually did a 47 GMC and set it on that was on a second gen S10. It worked really good. Yeah, there's a whole lot of modifying you can do because very little is going to match up, but it's minimal compared to other things. I hope I answered all that for you, Jane. And it's a good looking little truck. 47 through 53. Yeah, 47 through 53. We're all almost exactly the same. The only difference between the 54 and 55 is they had a one-piece windshield. And 56 in GMC. You could still get a Series 1 in 56. That is. Terry does really good work. I wouldn't know. I don't follow Fords that much. uh, Fords will definitely keep you on your toes. There's like I used to say, I love Chevys, but Chevys they make me lazy. So I step over and work on a Ford to sharpen me back up. I would do Mopar, but they're so dang rare around here that John Case. Yeah, Trick Flow. They make all kinds of stuff too. In fact, they make a really good set of 318 heads too. But their stuff ain't cheap. It's in a barn. Haven't done anything with it. I think it's a 390. Hood opens from the windshield out. Yep. Yeah, Ford did that reverse opening for, oh, when did they quit doing that? 61? No, 60. Oh yeah, there's another one. I should have remembered that one. Blue Thunder. Yeah. Yeah, you want to talk some money right there. Good stuff. But yeah. Whew. Edelbrock, Trick Flow, Speedmaster. Yeah, just to name a few of them. Great seeing you, Ed. Thanks for coming out. S15s. Yeah, I screwed around with a lot of them. All it is a GMC. Same thing as a Chevy S10. Exact same chassis, everything. It's just, it's a GMC. It's got to be a little bit better than a Chevy, right? So they put S15. No one does nicer work than you, as far as I'm concerned. I know, Terry. You're right up there, brother. Thank you. That answered my question. No, no problem. They're a cool looking little hot rod. Now, I did a video. Uh, they do make a kit that you can buy to use the first gen 2-wheel drive S10 kit for that truck, but it don't look right. It don't look right at all, and everybody I know that has used that kit isn't happy with it. It sets the front tires way inside, and it just doesn't work. You see it a mile away. But yeah, I look forward to seeing it going down the road, and I hope that helps. And it's a fun swap. It really is a fun swap. There's Justin Hill. What's going on? We're just talking about you. Did you by chance ever get them stickers that I sent out? Oh yeah, we was talking about that earlier too. Yeah, it's like somebody threw a light switch off. I think our high was only like maybe 45, maybe 45. Dadgummit. I'll have to dig around, find your address again, and just send out another one. Or like Cousin Mike said, if you're ever down here visiting Cousin Mike, you know, everybody down here, all your family down here, just swing on by. I'll give you a whole fistful of them. It's nice here. Low 80s, huh? I'll be dadgum. You ready for snow? Not yet, but I'll tell you what, it's starting to look like it, isn't it? When I come walking home from work today and watching them clouds, I'll bet you when it thins out and we can see the skyline ridge here, I'll bet you it's white. It's just not all the way down into the valley here, but I'll bet you the foothills there. If I can see them in the morning, I'll bet you they're white. Finally getting some things done in the low 80s. Whew. Oh, now, see Philip right there. Yeah, you did it right there. That's what would kill me. 95% humidity and 95-degree weather. Yeah, no, thank you. I think I could deal with the snow a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Uh, you know I'm lying, don't you? Yeah, it was 70 here yesterday. 69, 70. And in fact, my thermometer on the back porch, I think it got to like 73. And then today, mid to lower 40s is all we got to. Supposed to be in the 70s in Jersey, but it's cold at night. Yeah, it gets deathly cold here. We're down to we're in the 20s at night. We hibernate in the summer there. How can you hibernate with all that heat and humidity? I don't think I'd sleep a wink down there. Thank you for the Ford info. No problem. Like I say, I was scrolling, I saw that Ford and had to stop in. No problem. You're welcome in here anytime, man. And I like I said, I'd love to see pictures of your little 58. Lord knows I got a kind of a soft spot for 58. Yeah, 59 too. And I've always said that profile wise and the rear end, 57 Ford just had it. The Fairlane 500 from the side and from the rear end. That is just one good looking car. But the front end just is, oh, they lost it all. And it's all about the headlights. The 57 Ford headlights, they didn't match the rest of the car. It doesn't look right. It's got bug eyes. It looks like its eyeballs are popping out of its head. But from the profile and from the rear end, that is just a beautiful car. The best looking 58, in my opinion, though, it's most people's, the Plymouth Fury. Everybody loves a Christine. But what? There's only like 6 of them left. So I'd say number 2 is a 58 Ford. Chevy, and all the GMs, they went kind of 58, they went bonkers. And it's just body lines everywhere that don't really line up or match. And they started slapping chrome on them things like they were doing it with a paintbrush. But I do still love a 58 Chevy Biscayne or the Bel Air. And then 59, the Impala, all the way. Oh, and the El Camino. I love the 58 El Camino because it was basically an Impala with the pickup bed put on it. Those cat's eye taillights with the side facing fins. Oh, God, that was beautiful. The 57 Ford headlights look like they're coming out to get you. Scare the Chevys away. uh, and the Fords, even those big Fairlanes, they were like 200, 250 pounds lighter than the Chevys. Now, I've seen people take those 57 Ford Bug Eyes and they French them headlights back in, recess them, kind of like yeah, kind of like a Chevy's headlights are. Now that looks really good. That's the way they should have done it. Just set them back inside there a little instead of that bloop, bloop. Exactly. And especially trying to find one that's in good shape. Even up here on the desert, it's hard to find one of them in good shape. I used to know where there was four of them, but all four of them, most people would walk right over. It wouldn't even take two looks at it. They were pretty rusted out. In fact, when I was oh 5 or 6 years old, I was just starting school, so I would have been 5 years old. I took all my front teeth out on a 60 Chevy Impala. What made me think about it is because that car had nothing under it. The floors all the way from the gas pedal to the license plate on the back of that car was gone. And that's up here in the High Plains Desert. That's how bad those cars would rust out. Anyway, I was pulling the dune cycle. If any of you have ever, they were like the first three wheelers from back in the 60s, 70s. They're kind of an off road. Man, it was a cool little cycle, a little trike. But you sat down inside of it on like a regular racing seat, and the handlebars were, well, I was a little guy, so they're right here at smile level. And my dad opened up the pasture gate, and so I could, and he told me to just hop on the dune cycle and just pull it in so he could shut the gate, and then he was going to get on it and we were going to ride around in the pasture. Well, I had never rode one before, and this was like that first time in your life when dad hands you the keys and says, "Hey, wow, I get to do it." Yeah, I reached up there and I grabbed that throttle and I wide open shot across and smacked the rear end of that 60 Chevy Impala. He come up and bit the handlebars and knocked all my teeth out. So I didn't have no front teeth until my I barely had my baby teeth in, and before they were really lost on naturally, wham! I took a bite out of a handlebar, and I had to wait for my permanent teeth to come in. I really like Cousins Mike's new little Studebaker. Yeah, I seen that come up on Marketplace. Actually, I was going to send it off, message it off to him. But then I got home and I noticed that he'd already went and got it. uh, that's going to be a tough one. I'm sure he can get it going. And, well, I know Cousin Mike, but if we convince him real good, a small block Chevy will slip right down inside of there. Dimensionally, they're identical to a Studebaker Packard. Not much reproduction metal for the 59s right now. The Impalas, yeah, a little here and there. Yeah, again, you pay for it. But there's actually more for the 59 than there is the 58. If you want to go off totally on a limb, try restoring a 58 Chevy. That is tough. They don't make hardly anything for them. 59s, a little here and there. You can still get quarter panels and stuff for them. You can still get windshields for them. All the gaskets, windshield gaskets and door seals, you can still get. But it's a little spendy. How much did he pay? Well, I know he probably got it for less than the ad. And I'll tell you right now, the ad, it wasn't much. And it needs work. Well, you've seen in these videos, it's workable, but it's going to need a little bit of work. The cool thing is well, we know where there's about 3 of them. Not the wagon part, but in the ad, the guy said that the wagon part did work. It's just jammed up right now or something like that. But yeah, Cousin Mike will get it figured out. He probably already has. Knowing Cousin Mike, he's probably already got the, what do they call it? It's not a clamshell, but the rollback roof on it. He's probably got that all working now. Cousin Mike don't wait around. But yeah, I seen it when it first came up on Facebook Marketplace, and it went away real quick. Come to find out that Mike had already gotten it. But it wasn't a whole lot of money on there. I seen them. I remember those ones, and I think it was called the Scotsman. I remember the ad for it. Guy duck hunting in it, and it shows him standing in the back of it with the top rolled back like that, and he's got like a duck blind built over the car. He's hunting ducks out of the top of his station wagon. That was the old ad for it. I think that was the Scotsman, if I remember right. They were good little cars. that Studebaker Packard engine, my dad to this day will tell you that was the only car he could not kill was a Studebaker. They're hard to get power out of because when it comes to, you know, aftermarket goodies, nothing. But yeah, he tells stories about his he had two of them, Commandos. No problem, Philip. Great seeing you tonight. But nowadays, most everybody, like I said, they just drop a small block Chevy in them. You don't have to change hardly anything. The motor mounts are pretty close on the latter ones. His is probably there. If you put a power glide in it, I think if I remember right, you don't even have to move the cross member for the transmission either. Real simple swap. And if you set a Studebaker V8 next to a Chevy, you'll see why. The oil pan is shaped identically to them. Yeah, looking side by side, you know, they're the same width. They're just super simple. Studebaker's downfall with their V8, though, they really were the little guy. They developed that for 51. My Land Cruiser out there was the first year of the Studebaker V8. It had the little 232 in it. That was a beautiful running little engine. I pulled it out, pulled the engine transmission. I stuck it in the shop, and then I ended up selling that later on to help fund the Fairlane build. Anyway, I did a video on all of that. But Studebaker's problem was they never made enough money to keep going or develop beyond that. So they ran with that old iron block for all the way till 63. And in 63, they started putting Chevy engines in them. 289 or 283s. Cool thing about those Studebakers, though, is they're air cooled. They got an air gap intake on them, factory. And Cousin Mike, if you're in here, you know where that Daytona is. That Studebaker Daytona. You know real well where that is. You ought to get up there and talk to old Walt and at least get the intake off of it. Because that's 4-barrel intake. And it's got one of these sitting on top of it. One of these Carter WFBs. I've got a couple of them. I would love to put that little Carter WFB on that slant 6 because it's only, oh, what are those? They're like 390, 400 CFM. That would be really good for a slant 6. They're a real small 4-barrel. In fact, they're so small that they take a special, they're a square bore, but they're a small square bore. So you gotta run an adapter to put them on a regular square bore carburetor flange, a regular intake. Well, with that, we've run for about an hour. I think we'll go ahead and close her up for tonight. I just wanted to pop on because I missed you this last weekend. Let you guys all know I'm still a knocking. I'm still out here. Like I said, harvest shutdown is going to be done and over with on the 4th of November. And then that's when I go back to a regular normal schedule so I can actually get these lives more frequent and actually get out there and get you guys some videos because I'll actually have some time off. I have been running hot and heavy since 2 weeks before No Name Nationals. So anyway, I ain't gonna bore you with that. After the 4th, when that all gets going out to work, then and everything settles down, goes back to normal, we'll go back to our normal regular lives on either Saturday or Sunday, playing back and forth on whether or not to switch back to Saturdays. But I'll keep y'all posted. And in the meantime, everybody get out there and get some metal hot. And we'll catch you all next week. And I'll be popping in and out of other people's lives. And I'll be looking forward to seeing all of you out there in the rest of the community, then everybody else's lives as well. And to all of the new people that came in, I never in a million years would have thought that old Ford wagon would have brought people in, but that is pretty doggone cool. I look forward to seeing your cars out on the road and that 47 Chevy. I wish you a whole bunch of luck. No matter what, stick with it. It's one of the easier swaps, but it's not a direct bolt-on, but it's not too bad. It's a great way to get started into the wonderful world of hot rodding. Get an easy one first. Then you can play with the tougher ones, like trying to do a car. Yeah, that video series I did on them on the chassis swapping, I was basically talking about pickups, and everybody in there was saying, "Oh, well, what chassis do I use on a car?" Oh Lord, you want to know? You want to get into the more expert level? Yeah, do a chassis swap on a car. But that's subject for another video. Till then, thanks a million everybody for stopping in, and we'll catch you all next week. And we'll get out there and get that metal hot. We'll catch you next time.